The other day I went to a cafe and I bought an iced coffee, and before the guy handed it to me, he stuck his finger in the part of the lid that the straw has to pierce. I guess to make it slightly easier for me to put the straw in. And he was doing that for everybody, for every single drink that he handed out. What an awful addition to society that guy is. His finger would get in the drink. And it was like a weird finger too, like it was crooked and stuff. And that's not to say that a finger that appeals more towards society's standards of beauty would be more welcome in my fucking coffee, but it was just another thing that I noticed. Telling you about this whole ordeal leads me to a greater point. Some people in the world should be exiled. And that's not a metaphor, not like socially exiled where we all just don't talk to them anymore. I'm talking about we should put them on a deserted island and then leave. You know, we should point in a general direction in a forest and then tell them keep walking until we can't see you anymore. I cannot stress enough how much I do not mean this as a metaphor. There are more than a few people who should be exiled. Like the old guy that I met who said that Irish people are bad lovers. He should be banned from the world. And I'll explain. One day I was talking to this older gentleman, but it turns out he wasn't so gentle. I regret the way I phrased that. But he wasn't a nice guy, because when he asked me what my ethnicity was and I said Irish, he said, ha ha ha, Irish people are bad lovers. And then I said, what? And he said, Irish people are bad lovers. Guy did not miss a beat. You know, he for real thought that I was asking him to repeat himself just a little bit louder. And then he turned and he walked away. He just went on with his day, just kept on living. I want him alone on a deserted island forever. Or here's another one. People who are in charge of a meeting or an assembly and at the beginning ask how everyone's doing and then everybody in the audience says good, but it's not loud enough. And so they say we can do better than that, and then they ask you again in an effort to artificially inflate the level of excitement in the audience. And then everybody has to scream the same thing for a second time? What are we doing? I never want to ever run the risk of seeing or hearing from you ever again. Why are you doing that? What are you trying to do? To get us all excited for your 9 a.m. school assembly on anti-bullying? Guess what? We're not. Nobody wanted to be there. We just all got off the bus and some teacher pointed us to sit on the bare tile floor of the gym that's also the cafeteria. I don't mean to be rude. I don't want to be rude to these like, way into it assembly speakers. But do you want to have an awful experience? Go talk to one of those assembly leaders one-on-one and look deep into their eyes and try to find hope. It won't work. But let's get rid of them. We could probably get rid of them, right? I mean, let's put them all in a big boat without an engine and then push them out into the ocean. Next up is a guy I knew who was a loyalist. I'm gonna get a little bit political with this one, which I don't really enjoy doing, but one time I hung out with a loyalist. I did not care for that interaction. Like a loyalist as in like a person who thinks that America should still be part of England. You know, like a pre-Revolutionary War political opinion that I thought we ironed out by now. Listen, I get that America is having our problems, but I thought we all generally agreed on a few things. We all hate Jeff Bezos, but we'll never stop using Amazon. Beyonce did not deserve Album of the Year for Cowboy Carter, but we all kind of understand why she got it. And that American independence is good, but apparently not. Because this guy, who was born in Chicago, by the way, kept going on about how we didn't deserve it because we played dirty. I don't really know what that means. Like, he didn't like the concept of guerrilla warfare, I think. But it's war, right? Like, it's one of the few things where famously all is fair. He also didn't like George Washington because he said that Washington was crazy, but certainly not King George, right? Certainly not the guy who was slamming arsenic like it was water. No, I'm being hard on him. I mean, he did suck as a person, but the arsenic thing, it's not really on him because it was a medical treatment for a mental disorder he had. It did not work. Neither did the other seemingly foolproof treatment that his doctors gave him, where whenever he was having a manic episode, they just held him down on his bed until he stopped. So that did not cure him, if you would believe it. But anyways, the Loyalist. I don't think he should be exiled. I think that's too much, actually. Way too much. I'll be honest, I just started complaining about people, and then he popped into my head, and I just kind of went with it. He can stick around, but he was not a fun person. And he did this thing where he didn't ever laugh when something was funny. He would verbally say LOL. That's a real thing. That's a real thing that a human being on this planet did. And he never paid me back for the 3 beers that I bought him. Actually, the Venmo request it's still there. Maybe we should exile the lady who gave me a back scratch at work. This is a quick one. She got me with her whole hand, and 3 of the fingers were sharp, 2 of them were dull, but they were all wet. That's a real story. I want to get rid of her. Next up is the guy who sat behind me in Deadpool and Wolverine, who kept going, how did he do that whenever Wolverine healed from a wound? First off, he was genuinely asking. That's not how movies work. It's not an interactive Q&A with the rest of the audience. The plot is not a mystery that we're all trying to work together to unravel. If I wanted somebody to consistently ask me questions during the movie, I would watch one at home with my girlfriend. I didn't buy a ticket to help you figure out why Wolverine can get stabbed and then walk it off. Because secondly, that's like his whole thing. How did you not know that? How are you an adult man in a society that has culture and not know that? But beyond all that, stop talking to me. I'm here for the Marvel movie. I'm here for the 35th entry in a cinematic universe that stopped being good 25 entries ago. I'm here to waste my money watching a movie that's just okay. One that I will immediately forget the entirety of once I'm 8 steps outside of the theater. I'm not here to answer your questions. So yeah, let's put that guy in Antarctica. Let's put that guy in Antarctica. And that's the list for now. I'm sure there's more people I could put on it, but none really come to mind. Actually, you know what? Actually, let's put Jared Leto on that list. Let's throw him on there too. I just don't really like his vibe. Anyways, I hope you liked the video. Subscribe, because I'm gonna do more in the future. And also like and follow and stuff. And bye.